All right, welcome everyone. Today on the program, it's just some stories floating around out there. Again, they do anger me to some degree. They really do. Just the height of ignorance that's out there, especially in the halls of power. Economic ignoramuses to the left of me, to the right to me, everywhere. We're also going to talk a little bit about education, COVID, teachers, unions, and this get out of jail free card that despots and dictators want due to what they forced on we, the people, here during COVID. Again, I'm going to try to keep it cool and try not to lose my temper when we get into those things. And again, we're going to do some business follow-ups as well. Let's start off with this. Joe Biden flanked yesterday. Who was it? There was Jennifer Granholm from the Energy Secretary. It was to the right. And you had Janet Yellen to the left, just standing there like morons next to the ultimate economic ignoramus right there in the middle, Joe Biden himself, talking about the need for a windfall profits tax. There has never been a single instance in history where you're going to tax something and get more of it. Never. You remember all of the taxes, the added taxes they had at the cigarettes, alcohol, and it's all under the guise of, we're trying to keep people from smoking. Yeah, I mean, it's also to collect more money, but, it did help in that regards. What do you think is going to happen if you start taxing energy companies? And again, you said verbatim while you were running for office that you wanted to do away with fossil fuel companies. Now you are imploring them to go out and invest and to do more. Again, there's days like this. I see, this guy's the president of the United States, and I see this type of utter stupidity. And again, you don't know what to do. I mean, they're just this dumb. They really are. So windfall profits tax is going to do what? Do you honestly think that these companies are going to invest billions upon billions of dollars in increasing their fossil fuel production or increasing their refining capacity? If you're planning on shutting them down, I own a pizza parlor here on the corner, let's say. And the powers that be, whatever dictator or despot's in charge, wants to outlaw pizza, doesn't like pizza, wants people eating, I don't know, Brussels sprouts and carrot juice. Yeah, there's a shortage of food. And that despot and dictator wants me to go out and invest in new pizza ovens, knowing that he's going to shut me down. It hurts your head when you actually think about it. It really does. It hurts your head at just how stupid these people are. Their side story, you got diesel suppliers out there basically saying, hey, listen, we got inventory issues. Got major inventory issues. We've known this in regards to diesel for a while and the high cost of diesel. Again, this factors into inflation, trucks getting goods and services from point A to point B to point C on through. Again, we don't have the refining capacity. Another economic ignoramus story. 63, it shows you where this country is. 63% of Americans support the federal government sending out inflation relief checks. About 63% of eligible U.S. voters express some degree of support for federal inflation relief checks. 42% indicated they strongly agree, while 21% agree. Are you, this 63% of the population, do you realize how we got ourselves in this position? This is like all the conservatives out there clamoring for more COVID checks. And you know who you are out there, okay? You retirees that are on a fixed income and a pension. The COVID shutdown didn't hurt you at all, okay? Didn't hurt you at all. Oh, geez, give me my government money. Give me my government money. Just as bad as anybody else out there, for crying out loud, looking for a handout and looking for a giveaway. You think that this is going to help when it comes to inflation? Again, I go off on a rant here, but this is utter stupidity. Give me more money. I want. Government check. I got an idea. How about you go out and get yourself a freaking job? Inflation is hitting everybody, and it's hitting obviously certain people harder than others based upon discretionary income. And if it's hitting you a little bit harder at that point in time, go get a second job. Sorry. Oh, no, I'm going to ask for the government. It's a funny thing about so many conservatives out there, or Republicans out there. They want welfare just as much as people do on the left. You're not a conservative, okay? You don't believe in this. You want handouts. You want the government to take care of you. Which means what? You're not personally responsible. Again, truth hurts, people. Again, I'm not Mary Poppins. No spoonful of sugar to make the medicine go down. This is the reality. Anyway, again, I'm trying to keep it cool today. I admit it. I lose some hope. I have glimmers of hope from time to time. When I see 63% wants an inflation check, it bothers me. I mean, what do I do? I mean, I guess I'm trying to teach here on the program, and hopefully some of you like-minded people. No, it shouldn't be like-minded. Right-minded people. Open your mouth. Open your mouth. Call out the BS. At some point in time, okay, you got to stop cowering, okay? If you are in the know, I'm sorry, it's your duty to go out there and explain and teach. And I don't care if you get blowback. They might cancel me. Screw them. Anyway, story in the New York Times today, which New York Times is doing this. This is an echo chamber piece. This is something that we told you was going to happen. We laid it out. We said, this is going to be bad for kids. This is going to affect kids later on down the line. And now we're seeing study after study, test score. New York Times decides to do a piece. The pandemic generation. The pandemic generation goes to college. It has not been easy. Students missed a lot of high school instruction. Now, many are behind, especially in math, and getting that degree could be harder. And again, I'm not going to read the entire article. A lot of anecdotal information here, speaking with professors, speaking with schools, different locales, what kids have missed out on. No shit. You think that these teachers' unions care? You think that the school districts, do you think that they really care? You think that they really want to put the hard work in and do what was necessary? We said from the get-go, you're going to shut the school down. You're going to shut the school down for all intents and purposes half the year. Then take you how long to set up some sort of online bull excrement? And that's exactly what it was. You hold everybody back. You do, it's a do-over. You give everyone a do-over year. But they couldn't do that. Got to push the kids through. Got to push them through. And if you're not doing a do-over year, you better do school over the summer, and it better be remedial. But we couldn't do that because we were shut down most of the time over the summer. And the teachers' unions were fighting to go back in the fall. Fighting. They wanted no part of it. Oh, but they put their little heart signs up there. We care. No, you suck, is what you do. Look what you did to these kids. It's really mind-boggling. And you get these people that, in my opinion, they're like the devil. Randy Weingarten is like the devil. The devil. What do they collect? The teachers' unions, how much money did they collect? Almost $500 million. Funneling tens of millions of dollars to far left-wing causes. Mind you, supposedly 57% of teachers are Republicans. Bet you guys are thrilled where your union dues are going. This leads me to my next thing. Again, my dad is a microbiologist. I love science. Constantly reading, various different journals. I can understand history. I took a ton of science when I was younger, but by no means whatsoever am I a virologist, epidemiologist, nothing of the sort. But I can read, and each and every one of us has this power. We walk around with these phones in our pocket like gods, and you can look into respiratory diseases and the history of respiratory diseases and pandemics and all of these things, which we did. I spent ungodly amounts of time here on this program going over the ins and outs. And nothing could add up for what they were doing to us. Nothing. It made zero sense. All of these despots and dictators and authoritarians out there, what they did was horrific. Plain and simple. Well, I got to share with you something here. The Atlantic. Wait to hear this. The Atlantic has got a piece out there. Let's declare, I'm not kidding you. Let's declare a pandemic amnesty. That's right. All of these people that lied to you repeatedly, that tried to shut you up, censor you. All of these people, they want to get out of jail free card. They do. They want to get out of jail free card. Yep. Story from off Zero Hedge today. The Atlantic has come under fire for suggesting that all the terrible pandemic era decisions over lockdowns, school closures, masking, and punishing an entire class of people who questions the efficacy and wisdom of taking a rushed experimental vaccine for a virus with a 99% survival rate in most should be water under the bridge. Let it go. We need to forgive one another for what we did and said when we were in the dark about COVID. This is a Brown professor. This Emily Oster, a huge lockdown proponent, begging for mercy. You're a Brown professor. How is it that I figured it out? Huh? How is it that so many people with, half a brain, if you actually have any sort of critical thinking whatsoever, any sort of curiosity whatsoever, figured it out? Let's acknowledge that we made complicated choices in the face of deep uncertainty, and then try to work together to build back and move forward. Yeah, you're listening to the podcast. I just put up a couple middle fingers and mouthed something. They weren't in the dark about COVID. There were numerous sources pointing out the actual science that ran contrary to the mandate claims. Those were deliberately silenced by the media. Evidence suggests that media platforms worked in tandem with big tech, the CDC, and the Biden administration. It was not a simple matter of overreaction. There was collusion to remove all counter information. Again, is some people chiming in. It's Michael Sanger from the Daily Skeptic. There's a wrong here. First, no, you don't get to advocate policies that do extraordinary harm to others against their wishes, then say, we didn't know any better at the time. Ignorance doesn't work as an excuse when the policies involved abrogating your fellow citizens' rights under an indefinite state of emergency while censoring and canceling those who weren't as ignorant. The inevitable result would be a society in which ignorance and obedience to the opinion of the mob would be the only safe position. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I guess some of the points that some people are making here, senior fellow Claremont Institute, Matthew Peterson. Hey, sorry you lost your job because of the vax that doesn't work, and your grandmother died alone, and you couldn't have a funeral, and your brother's business was needlessly destroyed, and your kids have weird heart problems. But let's just admit we were all wrong and call it a truce. It's too bad we shut the entire economy down and took on tyrannical powers that have never been used before in this country. Looking back, you should have been able to go to church and use public parks while we let people riot in the streets. But it was a confusing time for everyone. Hey, I'm sorry. We scared the hell out of you and lied for years and persecuted and censored anyone who disagreed. But there was an election going on, and we really wanted to beat Donald Trump. So it was very important to radically politicize the science, even if it destroyed kids' lives. Oh yeah, and I can go on and on. Again, you can kind of sense my rage to some degree when it comes to this. You can. Here's just a thought exercise for you people out there that are still. Well, again, you just want to know who the Democrats are and what they believe in. Let me run this down for you. Rasmussen poll, Democratic voters. This is what they believe in. 58% of Democrats would oppose a proposal for federal or state governments to fine Americans who chose not to get the COVID-19 vaccine. Okay, who are the remaining people? The left. 59% of Democratic voters would favor a government policy requiring that citizens remain confined to their homes at all times, except for emergencies, if they refuse to get a COVID-19 vaccine. Imprisonment for questioning the vaccine. Nearly half, 48% of Democratic voters think federal and state governments should be able to fine or imprison individuals who publicly question the efficacy of the existing COVID-19 vaccines on social media, television, radio, or online or digital publications. So basically, Democrats believe that I should have been thrown in jail. Forced quarantine. 45% of Democrats would favor governments requiring citizens to temporarily live in designated facilities or locations if they refuse to get a COVID-19 vaccine. 29% of Democratic voters would support temporarily removing parents' custody of their children if parents refuse to take the COVID-19 vaccine. I'm laying it out for you, everybody here. I'm reporting, you decide. You got to decide, what side. And you people believe in all this stuff. I don't know. Why don't you just move to China? They love zero. They love that we could participate in that zero COVID policy. Have at it. By the way, move on from this to some of our business briefs today. There's rumor flying around that China is actually finally going to walk away from their zero COVID policy. We'll see. Anyway, well, how about that? CEOs are now starting to cut back or pause their ESG efforts. Again, I laugh at all of this stuff. I really do, because it's such a freaking racket. It really is. You remember when they were giving out swag bags for the Oscars and other types of things where they just give stuff to rich people. They did a whole Soprano bit on this. If you remember Christopher, and I forget the name of the guy. It was the guy from Miami. They were trying to pitch their mafia horror movie Saw, and they tried to get Ben Kingsley involved, and they saw all the stuff that was given to all of these rich people, and then they smacked around Lauren Bacall and took her bag. I remember years ago they were showing some of the things that they put in these swag bags, and one of them was some $10,000-$15,000 carbon credit. Exorcise the demons. That's right. Catholic medieval practice of selling indulgences. You can pay away your carbon sin. Al Gore did that bit back when he did his live Earth concert, where, on his website, you would just tell him how big your house was, what type of car you drove, and you could exorcise your carbon demons by sending Al Gore a check. Yeah, with ESG, your ESG score, it encompasses more than just carbon. Oh, yeah. You can lower you can have a better ESG score. I don't know if a lower is better or higher is better, because I don't give a shit. But you can improve your ESG score. Let's say you are one of the dirtiest companies ever. Let's say you're like C. Montgomery Burns from The Simpsons, and your power plant is you're putting radioactive stuff into the water. Remember the three-eye fish from The Simpsons? Anyway, neither here nor there. If C. Montgomery Burns hires enough minorities, LGBTQRSTUVs, oh, guess what? All the polluting that you do magically goes away. Stupid. This entire thing is, like Tesla. Tesla, makes money by selling some of its carbon credit. It's bullshit. From top to bottom, it's an utter load of bullshit. Anyway, home builders say they're on the edge of a steeper downturn as buyers pull back. Oh, poor home builders. Guess what, guys? You're going to have to lower your prices. They have no problem jacking up their prices to absolutely ridiculous levels, okay, when money's cheap. When money's cheap. And granted, we had supply issues and commodity issues that made houses more expensive to build a year and a half, 2 years ago. We know all this, okay? But that's not the case right now. You want to sell more home, well, you're going to have to lower some of your prices. That's kind of how the world works. Uber stock up today, at least it was. Earlier, they reported numbers, lost money again. Again, Uber doesn't make money as of yet. But they're trying to. They're trying to break free of the entire, grow at all costs. Who cares about earnings nonsense, which has been going on for an extended period of time. Their revenues are up. They lost money. Some of the losses that they had were due to write-downs on some of the equity positions that they hold in other companies, and they're continuing to look to focus on being profitable. Again, I go back to Kruger Industrial Smoothing. The other day, one of my listeners pointed out that I said Kroger. I know it's, well, maybe I did. I don't know. Kruger Industrial Smoothing, to get into the good one, the black, not the red. Good, more tech companies. You might want to try doing that because the cheap money's not around anymore. Where it's just quickly on this one. Oh, this is, again, markets were, I don't even know where they are right now. It was a big turnaround in a period of time, and it came out when the job openings report came out. Job openings surged in September despite Fed efforts to cool labor markets. Yeah, the Fed's going to cool the labor market. We got what, 1.9 job openings for every available worker at this point in time. Again, it's going to only change when, businesses start utilizing more technology and make investments to become more productive. And again, some businesses are scared, not willing to lay off workers. Many of the workers that they have, quite frankly, suck. And let's take a look at the numbers. U.S. workers have gotten way less productive. Here's the headlines. No one is sure why. Yeah, I've got several ideas. How about you? I don't know, maybe this whole work at home thing. Maybe this whole quiet quitting thing. Maybe because you coddle them too much. I'd rather run a lean, mean fighting machine than be bloated. I just would. I'd rather run a lean, mean fighting machine. I know I'm quoting Dewey Oxberg, John Candy from Stripes, but I would. You want to see increased productivity at your company? Don't run it like a government agency. Fire people if they suck, if they're not working hard, if they're doing the bare minimum. Goodbye. Goodbye. And guess what? That culture at your company just might start to change. Just saying. Well, you don't understand. These kids they've been coddled. They're not used to it. Yeah, you're looking in the wrong places. You might want to find and look for kids that have actually worked their ass off to help pay their way through school, or kids that were involved in major extracurricular activities at school, whether it be art, whether it be music, whether it be athletics. I don't know. Those kids know how to work. You might want to look there. Just saying. Anyway, have a great day, buddy. Watchdog on wallstreet.com. I'm a little ill-tempered today. You could see some of these topics get me a little amped up. That's okay. That's all right. Anyway, have a good one. But again, reminder, hey, get to our website, sign up for our podcast, personal CFO program. Check out our Alpha Lock portfolios and the various different things that we're doing. Watchdog on wallstreet.com. Have a great day.